Regeneration Australia's WAPA program stands for Whole of Paddock Rehabilitation, and it's a program we started in 2008, acknowledging the need to scale up revegetation on farming land, but to do it in a way that balances conservation outcomes with production outcomes. So we were very mindful of farmers losing land to revegetation. We were often talking about the width of windbreaks, the high cost of fencing. So WAPA was really an ingenious way of combining the two within a paddock and no net loss of land from production.
We run a small sheep breeding operation and a cattle trading operation here. We've planted about 45,000 trees. We're standing here in the middle of our WAPA paddock that we did with Greening Australia. We decided to do a trial a few years ago where we had a mob of steers that we purposely took to shelter behind windbreaks anytime we had cold weather events. We also ran a control mob that we just left in a rotation on paddocks where there wasn't a lot of shelter. At the end of the spring that year, the steers that had been looked after by being provided shelter in winter were 40 kilos heavier than the control mob.
I first got interested in planting trees mainly because all the trees in my childhood in the 60s had died and disappeared, and the place was left very bare. And I started off planting individual trees because that's what was on the place when I first came. The Whole of Paddock Regeneration program became available, and I thought I'd give it a go. In 2011, we planted 15 hectares of direct seeding, and it came up very well, and so well we decided to do some more the next year, and we planted 20 hectares the next year. They also did really well, and it's left us with paddocks that are good environmentally and also good for shelter for our sheep, and that as well during the cold weather.
We had our WAPA paddock done quite a number of years ago now on a 50-acre plot, and we had 5,500 trees put in, we estimate. We've had a really high strike rate. We're extremely pleased with the result, so much so that we're just about to put in another 5.5 kilometres of trees.
We then went for the Greening Australia Whole of Paddock revegetation, and even though we had the minimum scale, the results have been outstanding. Bird surveys that were done after the covenants and the Whole of Paddock project, they would find that there were more birds here than in almost anywhere else. Huge benefit in the very dry years when it's very easy for farmers and graziers to become despondent about where their life's going. But to have the vegetation looking like it's still thriving, it's still giving the benefits to the animals, whether introduced or native, it is inspiring, I think.
It's really good for production, it's good for wildlife, and it's good for the soul.